My name is Dan Lebedeck. I'm the biologist ecologist with the Essex Region Conservation Authority, and I've provided input into the Windsor-Essex Parkway project from the local environmental perspective. Well, tallgrass prairie in general is one of the main open types of habitats that we have within our region, and it's very, very special actually. Grassland habitats provide a lot of biodiversity and a lot of habitat for species that require open areas. So there's a lot of insects, amphibians, reptiles, as well as birds, ground nesting birds. It also is the open type of grassland habitat which provides the habitat functions for a lot of the flora for this region. Tallgrass prairie is one of the richest ecosystems that we do have within our region, and it contains more plant species as well as animal and insect species than any other type of habitat type. Tallgrass prairie is important to Windsor because it is one of our remnant ecosystems that is actually one of the world's most endangered type of habitats. Tallgrass prairie used to be much more widespread than it is today. We only have about 3% of our original type of tallgrass prairie habitat within our region. It used to spread from Walpole Island down along the eastern seaboard of eastern shoreline of Lake St. Clair, and as well from the Ojibwe Prairie Complex a long distance southwards down into the town of LaSalle. Today we only have two very rich areas, one at Walpole Island and one in the Ojibwe Prairie Complex, and it is very, very small compared to the original extent. Perhaps only about 3% of the original that used to be here. The Chappis site, as well as the other fragments associated with the exercise of the Right Honourable Herb Gray Parkway, actually contribute to more of a restored ecosystem of tallgrass prairie, whereby the fragments are actually brought back from another land use, converted over either into residential, agriculture, etc. And there are places for the species at risk that have been transplanted out of the way of the parkway in order to create this more consolidated tallgrass prairie ecosystem, providing both the soil texture conditions and moisture conditions of the original prairie and bringing back that ecosystem in a more consolidated and linked fashion. Threats to tallgrass prairie are numerous, including first and foremost land conversion from its original state into an anthropogenic use or a human use, such as residential or agriculture. But secondly, tallgrass prairies are also susceptible to invasion by exotic invasive species such as Phragmites or common reed, as well as lack of management. Tallgrass prairies require active management, such as the suppression of woody succession. We don't want shrub thickets moving into the prairie and shading out, so we do need to actually conduct either prescribed burns in order to burn off the woody succession or manual removal of those woody species. Human influences or anthropogenic influences also can degrade an existing prairie ecosystem, such as human use, inadvertent use by local residents, ATVs, as well as things like domesticated pets that are allowed to roam free, such as feral cats, such as just adjacent land uses of dumping garden waste into a remnant ecosystem and allowing the seeds from exotic flowers and plants to actually invade into the ecosystem.
My name is Russ Jones. I'm a biologist. I've been spending a lot of time working in the restoration sites that are part of the Herb Gray Parkway. That's how I spend most of my day, studying the plants and the endangered species that are found in these prairie remnants. Well, the Parkway is doing fantastic things for tallgrass prairie. As Dan alluded to earlier, there's management that has to happen in order for these prairie areas to remain functioning prairie ecosystems. And as part of the Parkway, that's what's happening. So active management and restoration work is helping keep these grassy areas high quality. As far as Chapas goes, it's an incredibly important area because there was a lot of intact prairie here to start with, which means we have a great foundation for our restoration work going forward. A lot of the species that were already here, perhaps they're a little less well known, or maybe more obscure. A lot of the smaller stuff that you might not be able to get in seed mixes when you're restoring a prairie site, they were already here in a lot of places. So it's able to spread and continue to thrive. In other words, we had a pretty good foundation to start with some of the existing prairie that was already here. I've been lucky. I grew up maybe about 5 or 6 minutes from where I'm standing here today, and I've spent a great part of my life working, studying, observing, and just being surrounded by these tallgrass prairie communities. And I've become quite familiar with these sites and with these areas. So to be a part of the Right Honourable Herb Gray Parkway project, and to be part of the team of biologists involved in restoring these habitats, it's an incredible opportunity for me, and I feel very lucky and very privileged to be a part of that. And I think that the residents of the area, they should be proud of what's happening here as well, because there's a lot of attention, a lot of work, and a lot of care that's gone into maintaining these incredibly rare and incredibly diverse pieces of grassland habitat, so that our kids can enjoy these areas as well. The Chapas area is incredibly important because it's a treasure trove of rare and threatened and endangered species. There's no less than 7 species at risk found just in this area here behind us. 5 of them are plants, and there's 2 animals. They happen to be snakes, Butler's garter snake and eastern fox snake. But aside from these species at risk, there's multitudes of provincially rare species that on this site, incredibly, are in some cases quite common. So it's a very, very special place, and it's a place definitely deserving of protection and management. The Right Honourable Herb Gray Parkway is an incredible project. It's brought together numerous agencies and partners, ranging from the ministries to local residents, to local law enforcement and fire when it comes to prescribed burns. First Nations communities are involved in restoration work, and it's been a remarkable chance for all these different groups to work together to do something really positive and really helpful for the environment. There's an active commitment to keep these areas grasslands healthy and diverse, and through the endangered species permitting and through these ministries, this is exactly what's happening.